Welcome to David's Life and Observation. Today's show is going to be a discussion about how San Antonio police and the San Antonio judge that ruled that Mexican Padilla was disturbing the peace by simply using his First Amendment right to rebuke the officers who were accosting him. They weren't innocent. They didn't just happen upon him. They came directly to him to tell him he was not allowed to do what he's legally allowed to do. To slap in the face of the Constitution, the judge should be disbenched, and the chief should be arrested for endorsing such a ruling. He can't say on one hand, I endorse the Constitution, while on the other telling it that, oh, the Constitution only applies in certain settings. Mexican Padilla was out in public. And if he were in the police station when he got arrested, which I think was that specific case, and he was being arrested and then decided to curse, he is legally allowed to redress his government. I cannot believe how that ruling went. And they're going to use that as case precedent now to arrest any auditor who goes out there and uses any language against police. This sets a bad precedent. I'm sorry, but expletives are part of language. There's no disturbing the peace. There's no inciting anything if you're not inciting anyone who is not around to even voice. There was no citizens around if he was in the police station when he got arrested. I'm trying to think of which case he got arrested for. And then for the other one, he was out in public. So being arrested while out in public, utilizing his free speech and telling his government officials that were trying to accost him to go fuck off is legally allowed. Now, he's going to win on appeal. But this right here will give San Antonio police the agency or the desire to say, oh no, there's already case precedent on this, we can arrest you, even if there's appeal. There's no way this passes muster at the higher court. No fucking way. Otherwise, we're going to see a series of arrests from journalists, activists, and you're just going to see it nonstop. Police fucked up. They don't, I'm telling you right now, more and more they're getting away with all sorts of shit. They're trying to deny every ounce of your rights to you. They want to take away all rights. They don't care. They will actively say on camera that they do not care about your rights. They will say on camera that they will do what they are going to do regardless, and you can only battle it in court. Where it's another state employee who's going to endorse their action, who's working in tandem with another state employee who's going to rule in their favor. That's just a miracle of fucking modern science to me. So here's what we should do, people. We need to be out in force in San Antonio. Activists need to get out in San Antonio and rebuke the police and fight against this injustice. And don't go unarmed. We have to stop going to places unarmed. There's no more peaceful resolution to anything anymore. We have to fight fire with fire. Now you're going to say, Dave, well, that's rather hypocritical. You got your weapon taken away. Absolutely did. Yeah, I should have. But I didn't have it on me to fight fire with the fire. I was within my legal right to use it for the unlawful arrest. Didn't have it on me. But I also wasn't going to bring it inside a daycare to go get my kids. Concealed or even out in the open. Not going to. Didn't feel it was necessary. A little bit of an update on my case. I do have the lawsuit all drawn up. Just have to file it now, and I have to file a motion to waive the fee, and then I'm also going to file a motion for the court to appoint counsel, seeing as how I can't get counsel to back me as it is because they're afraid to go against law enforcement or government agencies around here. They are so intertwined with the government agencies around here that they dare not go against them for the retaliation aspect. And it's entirely plausible that the government entities around here outright retaliate. I'm sick and tired of feeling like we're under British rule all the time. It's the government versus the people, and this is not how we have designed our government. It is too big, too fat, too ugly to be peaceful anymore, people. We can't do it. We have too many assholes and too many positions of power, and they've been there for so fucking long they think they're untouchable, like the police chief. I hope San Antonio residents hang him by his fucking neck. I really do. He deserves to be dragged out of his office and hung for the pursuing against it's a violation of the First Amendment. He's allowing that to happen. He should be hung from the neck until dead. Absolutely. The assistant chief, the officers that arrested Mexican Padilla, absolutely should face the same consequence. Any officer that violates somebody's civil rights should be taken off of the police force, disarmed for the rest of their life, and flogged in the public square. I'm sick and tired of them dictating, oh, well, you're going to take on this severe punishment while we face nothing. Nothing for perjury, nothing for violence, nothing for nothing. They don't get reprimanded for shit. Some are facing jail, but it's pockets. It's here and there. It's not consistent. There are so many officers out there violating people's rights, doing dirt, and not being held to account. Even though the police chief said, oh, we're held to the highest standard, I call bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. He thinks he's doing the right thing. He's not. And he will have his comeuppance. There are San Antonio citizens that are sick and tired of his shit. There are people all over the U.S. that are sick and tired of law enforcement fucking up. Yeah, I get that they're human. But they are humans that affect other humans' lives exponentially, to the point where they take human lives, and to the point where they incarcerate someone unjustly and cause further damage than they fucking intended to cause. When you incarcerate somebody that doesn't need to be in there, especially if that motherfucker's been in there 10, 20, 30 fucking years, the officers, the attorney, everybody, it doesn't matter if it's in good faith. It does not matter. Somewhere, somebody withheld evidence. Somebody somewhere fucked up. That person needs to have his life taken the way that person's life was taken. Whether it's murder, whether it's years in a cage. If you are an attorney and you're a judge and you're a police officer of any kind, and you knowingly do that to someone, you knowingly, oh, well, you know, we don't have all the evidence. We have circumstantial evidence, and we have a racist jury on our hands that we've told them that they have no other option but to convict. Then there's going to be a fucking violent end to the current justice system. It's not going to be pleasant. It's going to be violent, and it needs to be violent. Hey guys, hold on one second. Going through the gate. We need to stop having kid gloves against the police. We have to. There's no other way to handle them now. They've gotten too big for their britches. They think they're Billy Badass. I mean, the arrest of the people inside their home when these motherfuckers are kitted up like Ghost Recon motherfuckers, and they are not in the military, that to me signifies that they want to be and desire to be a standing military, which is another violation of our rights. So the only way we as citizens can handle these motherfuckers nowadays is through direct violence. And then we should be able to shoot these motherfuckers and then let the courts handle it. There's no other alternative anymore. We have to rise. We have to not just protest, but we protest armed. We protest with deadly force intended. The Bundys made it work. The Bundys scared the fuck out of the federal government. Still do. They scared the fuck out of the federal government. They absolutely should. The federal government absolutely fucking fears the Bundys and anybody affiliated with them. Anybody who ever showed up at the Bundy Ranch, they will wait and chase them down one at a time to arrest them and put them in a cage without a trial, without an attorney. And that right there is a slap in the face of the American justice system. There's going to be revolution. There's going to be a civil war. The civil war is going to be fought by the people who are rising against our government. And not everybody in the military is going to be okay with fighting their brethren. So if they think they can just turn our own military against us, they got nothing coming. Because those people in the military have to come home eventually. They're going to retire. They're going to have to come out into the civilian workforce. They're going to have to do something. And then when somebody finds out who they were, what they were a part of, and what their family, and that they have a family, they will be gone after, and should be. Any American who works to actively cage, incarcerate, and murder other Americans should be killed. They should have a bullet put in their fucking head. I'm sick and tired of us placating these assholes. We should march into our courts. Grab judges by their fucking scruff of their neck and fucking throw them outside and beat the fuck out of them. We as American people deserve that. We have that right. We have the right to march into these government places, which for some odd reason they think we don't have the right to. It is not private property. It is the property of the American people. It is the property of the citizens of that city, that state, that county. It is absolutely their property. To say that a public space is private property is fucking obtuse and ignorant. So for anybody filming those and cop watching and doing all those things that hold the government accountable, they should keep doing it. San Antonio fucked up. Houston fucked up. I'm glad Texas is the benchmark for fuck-ups. Coppers Cove fucked up. Coryell County Sheriff's deputies fucked up. And it's going to keep hitting them. And it's going to get to the point where Texans are going to fuck them up. Texans will not tolerate their shit. There are a lot of Texans out here on the public dole. There are. But I cannot imagine Texans being okay with a police state. They're too wild, too carefree to fucking allow that shit to be endorsed. Law enforcement nowadays are a bunch of cowards. They believe they have more rights of protection, more rights to safety than everybody else, which boggles my fucking mind because that's nowhere in law. It is absolutely sickening how we've allowed this nonsense to persist. We've allowed nonsense to persist to the point where they've boldly committed crimes on camera, and they fully expect not to be held accountable. And we see it all the time where they've committed crimes 2, 3, 4 years ago, and it's now coming to light because the person that was violently arrested or violently hurt or murdered or something, their family's just now able to get the video, and they're trying to assert that they have no recourse. There's no, oh, well, you're out of the statute of limitations to file your lawsuit because that's when we're going to give you the evidence. Coppers Cove is doing the same thing to me right now. They're withholding evidence so that they don't get sued. That's their whole intention. They are withholding evidence so that they don't get sued. And it's absolutely sickening how that they're allowed to do that, and the Attorney General allowed them to do that. It's fucking mind-boggling. So Texas, you either nut up and be the baddest state in the nation, or you don't. Or you become a bunch of cowards that endorse a police state. Kind of leaning towards you guys being cowards, but prove me wrong. There's a lot of brave men and women here. A lot of them hide, though. Now, I've never understood why it's okay for the justice system to be so corrupt. Any judge that makes a decision that's not based in reality or law, that thinks they can do whatever the fuck they want to just because they wear the black robe, because I guarantee you that judge in any other setting, any other venue, won't say shit to a motherfucker. Won't talk to you, won't say shit to you other than shake your hand and say, hey, please vote for me. That's it. That's all they're going to do. If they talk to you the way they talk to people inside that courtroom, on the outside, they'd be beaten within an inch of their life. I'm sick and tired of law enforcement thinking they're badass and they're cool and that they're the sheepdog. You know what that implies? That implies that every other person that they encounter are sheep. Americans are far from fucking sheep. I've never heard an American refer to themselves as a fucking sheep. Ask any other spirit animal that your brethren talk about. Any other American will say that they have the heart of a bear, the courage of a bear, the fierceness of a mountain lion, the intensity of the eagle. I mean, something. Wolf. They won't even mention a motherfucking sheep. Yet law enforcement will fucking wear these t-shirts to embolden themselves to commit crimes. Not to stop it. They commit fucking crimes in droves. They won't stop it. They're never held to account. Never. Not in the way they should be. Hell no. If you have a officer in your department who has more than one complaint, there's something going on. And it's not just, oh, well, they don't like how I treated them. It's, no, you fucked up somewhere. You violated their rights. You fucked up in the law, and you deserve that rebuke. I've seen it on video where a lawyer is telling a law enforcement officer, you are violating the law. Doesn't fucking matter. Doesn't fucking care. Won't even apologize. Just carries on. That's how obtuse these motherfuckers have gotten. That's how full of their own shit that they have gotten. They're not alpha males. They're beta males hiding behind badges. They're ignorant motherfuckers who have no basis in reality. But their time is coming. Mark my words, people. 5 years from now is going to be a different landscape. The landscape's going to be literally an us versus them. You think the LA riots was bad? It's going to get worse. You think Ferguson was bad? It's going to get worse. You think Baltimore was bad? It's going to get worse. Because there's going to be organizations of motherfuckers that are forming right now. The Black Panthers, even the KKK and other organizations that are finding recruits right now, and law enforcement's making it real fucking easy for them. They're going to band together, and they're going to fight back. They're going to find themselves armed to the teeth, battling against these pseudo-soldiers that are wannabe soldiers, and they think they're right. That's all it is come down to is, oh, I think I'm right, so therefore I can do whatever I want. If I marched in and put handcuffs on Officer Bartlett for his false arrest, that would turn violent super quick. Because who am I? Oh, I'm just a citizen. Now, if I go in there with 13, 14 of my best friends armed to the fucking teeth, or even more motherfuckers, if I get like 100 deep, armed to the teeth, we're gonna shoot our way in there. We're gonna take everybody out until we put handcuffs on the motherfucker we intended to put handcuffs on. And then see them crying, bitch, and moan in the court. Oh, well, they came in armed and they fucked us up and That's what you would hear. You would hear a bunch of crying from widows, be a bunch of crying from those that barely survived. Oh, they came in, these citizens, they came in armed and they arrested Officer Bartlett and they found him guilty and cut his head off. Well, I mean, that's a fictitious scenario, guys. But at the same time, seriously, we as Americans have that fucking power. If they say it's against the law to do that, let them fucking try. We'll win in court. Or, we go a step further and we just don't do it at the local level. We do it at the big fucking level. I'm talking full-on mutiny in this country. We need it. We need full-on mutiny in this country where senators, presidents, government officials from all over the motherfucking place are getting beheaded. We need to pull a France. We need to do an American terror. Fucking A, we need that shit. And we would thrive. We would thrive as a country for it. Because we'd learn that, hey, if you're being put in a position of power from the American people, if you want to fuck it up, there are consequences and severe ones. That's what needs to happen. The whole Wall Street bailout, everything like that, people fucking with your money. Yeah, those guys need to be arrested too. Those guys need to be beheaded because they cause serious harm to the American people. Don't disinclude them. The Waltons, major CEOs that are shitting on you, same thing. Alright, guys. Heading in. Thank you for listening. If you have any comments, concerns, email me, dwelch9627@gmail.com.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.